Hello and welcome to Atlas Canada, where we talk about Canadian geography and discover essentially this beautiful country that I call home. In today's episode, we'll be talking about Canada's best kept secret. That's right, Canada has a secret, and it's actually that it has a rainforest. Yeah, Canada, it has a rainforest. It also has a pretty cool name. This forest is called the Great Bear Rainforest, and as you can probably guess, there is a lot of bears. Yeah, there's a lot of bears. Well, there's a lot of bears in Canada, but in this forest too. So yes, we'll be talking about this temperate rainforest in the northern hemisphere, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now, you might ask yourself, why have I not heard of this supposed rainforest in Canada? Well, it's not actually like a jungle. It's more of a temperate rainforest, whereas you'll find pine trees, you'll find conifers, you'll also find some oak trees, and more of northern trees. The difference is that it has a lot of rain. That's what makes a rainforest. It has a lot of rainfall, and therefore this Great Bear Rainforest is considered to be a rainforest because of the temperateness of the location, not because it has palm trees and other exotic trees that you will not find there. So first of all, where is this supposed rainforest even located? Well, that's actually an interesting question. Unsurprisingly enough, the rainforest is actually located in British Columbia. You know, beautiful British Columbia. That's what they do best. They do nature, and they do it well. And that's exactly why this rainforest is located in British Columbia. I'm just kidding, guys. So as you can see here in green, we have everything that encompasses the actual forest. So we can see that it covers a large area, 6.4 million hectares of total land. And for those who don't know what hectares are, because I was doing some research for this episode, and I realized, you know what, I don't actually know what a hectare is. I've never even been taught this in school. I don't think so. So a hectare is actually in the metric system, surprisingly enough, and it's an area that is 100 meters by 100 meters. So it's a square that is 100 meters by 100 meters. So a decently large square. And just to put that into perspective, 6.4 million hectares is the size of the country of Latvia in Europe. So it's quite a big area of forest that we're talking about here. So the Great Bear Rainforest is actually part of a greater climate system that is stretches from actually Alaska all the way to Northern California, as you can see in this map here in red. So that is the whole rainforest. However, we're just going to be talking about the Canadian part, obviously, because, well, this is a show about Canada, guys. Now, this whole area is actually virtually untouched. Only 17,000 humans actually live in the land that we call the Great Bear Rainforest. So this land is untouched, unspoiled, and is actually the largest unspoiled rainforest in the world. The landscape is also covered in schvolds. You know, those things that you find in Norway that are carved out of glaciers, or was carved out of the last glaciation period. Yeah, there's a lot of those also in Canada, and especially in the western coast of British Columbia. There is a lot, and the Great Bear Rainforest has a lot of these schvolds and majestic cliffs that you can see on the edge of the coast. Now, another thing that you'll notice is that the landscape is dotted with these hundreds of islands that are on this coast, and this is also caused by the glaciers that left thousands of years ago. But you could say that this area is actually kind of an archipelago. So basically, guys, what I'm saying here is that it is a beautiful landscape. Has crystal blue lakes, beautiful waterfalls, and untouched, pristine forests with all these cliffs and all these islands that I've been talking about. So this rainforest is actually home to a very special type of bear. So this bear is called the Kermo bear, which is a cream color. And no, it's not a polar bear. It's its own separate thing. but it's white. This is actually a recessive gene that comes from black bears, and it is only displayed in 1 in 10 cubs. So the Aboriginals of the region actually called this bear the spirit bear, and they called the bear spirit bear because it was so rare, and if one would see one, they would be essentially lucky for multiple years to come. These bears, however, nowadays only number at around 200. So what else is cool about this rainforest? Well, it actually has 1,000-year-old cedar trees. Yeah, 1,000 years old. That means that these trees were actually around during the freaking Crusades. The Crusades! 1,000 years ago. A tree that is 1,000 years old. So how can there be a rainforest so up north? Now that's the question we're going to try to answer here, and it has a lot to do with geography. So as you can see from this map here, the forest is actually located between 2 natural barriers. So we've got the Rocky Mountains to the east, and we have the Pacific Ocean to the west. Now this creates a very unique climate because the moisture from the Pacific Ocean coming from the west is essentially trapped. It cannot pass the Rocky Mountains. So this creates a lot of extra rain, a lot of extra clouds, a lot of extra moisture in this small belt along the western coast of North America. So with some extra rain, there was actually a lot of different unique plants that were able to take root in this small gap. Essentially, this makes for a very unique ecosystem within Canada. So now we got some good news. 85% of the actual forest is protected land. In 2016, the provincial government accepted to pass a motion to protect the land and all the bears, of course. They need some protection. So here we've got a map of all the protected lands in the Great Bear Rainforest. And as you can see, it's almost all of it. Really, it's really a significant portion. Only 15% of it is not protected and is susceptible to logging and industrial activities. So to conclude, the Great Bear Rainforest is quite a unique gem within Canada. I mean, it's a rainforest in Canada, and that, in my opinion, is really, really cool. So if you're the type of person looking for an unspoiled adventure in the Canadian wilderness, this is the place for you. This is the place you'll really enjoy exploring. And maybe, you never know, maybe you'll see the spirit bear and be one of the lucky people who actually gets to see them in real life. So guys, that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Great Bear Rainforest. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao guys.